Welcome to the BMI Podcast, guys.
Welcome.
Today we're going to be having a chat about whether we want to get your guys' opinion on the potential of starting up a run club or what you want to see in a run club. And me and Yuta have been thinking about for the little cherry to either sponsor a run club or we start our own, because we want to engage more with our community. We want to gain more interaction with our customers, more than just that service-based customer relationship. Like we want to be get to know people a bit more, and then also get across what we're trying to achieve in life, and which is a healthier lifestyle through the BMI podcast, and also just all the actions and habits that we're taking throughout our life. And I think it's a good way for us to give back a little bit, and then also get to know our customers a bit better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like something that popped to mind was kind of like what would be the main purpose out of it, and I guess is it about just creating that community. Yeah,
it would be more about creating that community. We have goals to want to roast this year, and I think there's no better way to get a new product out there other than just word of mouth, and we have a very limited window of experience that we can give our clients because we are a takeaway service.
Yeah.
And like I like the idea of being able to sit down and actually get to hear people's story, and know their why, and I also want to mingle and be around people that have like-minded ambitions and towards health and fitness and even business. Just want to sort of have another way of forming a connection with our client base. Not only just that, but also even outside of the little cherry, just even people getting to know us as people.
Yeah. I mean, because there's a huge spark in run clubs that have gone up recently, right? And I was actually even thinking, I don't know of any on the other side of town. And so kind of like Rotsternaway.
Yep.
All of them seem to be centered around like Hamilton East or the Lake and Hamilton Central. And so I guess depending on time or when.
Yep.
And that could also open up that side of town too, because there's not really a lot either, here around like Pirate Stadium area or is it Greenhill?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Greenhill.
Yeah. Somewhere like that side.
Yep.
Everything seems to be more like central.
Well, and that's where we're closer to anyway. Yeah. That's a good thought as well, because I sort of was brainstorming, and I think I've talked to you a little bit about it, how I was thinking about maybe going down to the table tennis stadium and then setting up shop there. And that's the beauty that's why I think it could actually be quite a good idea for us, because we're a mobile cart.
For sure.
Whereas we can actually bring the caffeine with us, and then like I feel like we'll be on to a winner there, because a lot of people, they got their run club and then they all it's the same run every time.
Yep.
And then it's also they go to the same cafe at the end, which is, I think people don't mind going to the same cafe, but they usually have to go to the cafe after together, and then you'd probably lose a lot of people that would drop off the end of it because they're just there for the run and the chat and the yarn. Or some people, like, I think maybe some run clubs finish at a cafe, or
the cafes are normally like sponsoring or whatever the club itself. But like you said, they could almost be at different locations, and that's why I was thinking about whether or not the purpose for one, and especially if that's around community. But then if that is, so like I think about how I run, right, and probably how you run too, and really we do it for the solidarity.
Yeah.
It's like it is that kind of time where you can go into your own cave and you can kind of do your thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of actually the thing that I end up anyway, inherently liking about running.
Yeah.
And so then, they, if it's just about community, then you lose a little bit of that, or whether or not there could be a part of it that is centered around, similar to the running app that you're following. And so there's different runs, or it's almost like taking people through some kind of like program or journey rather than just being another run to turn up to kind of thing. I don't know, just as something different compared to, I feel like a lot of them out there are kind of just like, everyone is interested in running, turn up to run.
Yeah. Well, I kind of find like, because, you're saying how you have your solidarity, like, I feel like us as runners, we already know we're running more than once a week. Yeah. Like this isn't going to be our only run of the week, and it might be treated as their favorite run of the week because it's actually, oh shit, I get to be around some like-minded people.
With people.
Yeah. And, set PBs for that whatever the run that we either decide to do or distance, or I've done a bit of research and looked into a few different run clubs. You can run to a spot and then everyone waits and they all catch up, and then you could do some like hill sprints or like some stair work. So you go up the stairs and then you can all do teamwork sort of thing. Like you can get into like five or so groups, and then you guys are racing each other up these set of stairs or something along those lines that will actually get people involved, and then also they can set their own targets within those parameters.
Yeah. Because it was all that kind of, do you guide it as like a program, or do you leave it open so that people can just rock up, go for a walk if they want to do the walk or whatever, or Harry Hardcore go set a PB 5K or do a tempo 5K as opposed to like an easy run.
Yeah. Well, that's why I guess we're having this conversation. It's hard, right? Like you.
There's so many options.
There's so many options, but then also we've got to be realistic. It's like it's just going to be me, you, and a few of the bros or whoever I can straggle along. I told Nicole about it today, and if
she
you
runs
listen
a bit as well.
Yeah, she's been running a little bit, because she said she did in the Lugtons last year. And to be honest, if I think about it, she was probably the main thought of why I thought, I was like, oh, I'll do the Lugtons too, because like Nicole was training for that. I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And her and I think Deanna was going to do it, but then she didn't end up going. She paid for it and just didn't turn up.
Oh,
I think was it like $20 or something?
Yeah, true. Well, it depends on when you do it. Like the closer you get to the event, it ends up going up.
Oh, yeah. I think she signed up ages ago.
Yeah. Right.
Regardless, but yeah, so like there's just a few different options, and I think for me, I kind of want to just maybe set a timeline where I definitely want to get people involved. I want to meet new people. I wouldn't mind maybe the little cherry, sponsoring the first maybe month or two worth of coffees. You turn up, you get a free coffee, hang around to the end, do the run, hang around, get a coffee at the end of it. Something like that could be enticing. I just sort of want to.
What's been the biggest like from running? What have you found crossover into business or any other aspect of life in particular? Like outside of, I guess, just general fitness, gym and running. Is there anything that you found from running in particular, and maybe why people should even get involved in running or come along to a run club? Again, because there's a lot of people that are doing run clubs and they're almost for the people that are getting interested in running or interested in running. But for those maybe who haven't even thought, the bros literally go and do bicep curls and bench press Monday through Friday, like, what's been the crossover from running into other aspects of your life that you've found? Because this is new for you,
yeah.
Right?
Well, like
Before you hated it.
That's the thing that's as wild as I want to. Let's start a running club. I didn't enjoy running at the start of the year. Like I hated it. Like it, I used to talk very ill of it. You know, but if I'm being completely honest, I've changed my opinion of it. I still don't enjoy the runs, and I think that's what a lot of people out there need to understand. Like very, very few people are like itching to go and run. Like they're more itching to go and beat a PB. They're more itching to go and see how far they can push themselves, but it's not really the run that they're like itching at. They're actually like sighing, tying their laces up as slow as possible. Like things like that that they're trying to slow the process because they're kind of dreading stepping out that door. but we all, as runner, you can attest to this as well. Like once we actually get moving and we get going and we get past that 3 or 4 minute threshold, that's where we actually fall into the, all right, I'm out now, I'm enjoying it.
You settle in.
Yeah. And then I think I saw someone talk about how it's like the reverse of a workout. Like you feel the pain, or I can't remember it. It was I heard Chris Williams say it. It was quite a good one, saying along the lines of you do all the suffering during the running, and then you feel the rewards after the run. Like you feel good after the run. You're like, oh damn, I accomplished that. Whereas if you're doing a normal workout, like you're feeling quite good during the workout, and then when you go home, you're deflated, the pump's gone, and then you're like, it's sort of like, it's like the reverse of a workout, sort of as a gym workout.
Yeah,
like, you can see how that, you're in the gym and you're like, me, and you're like, I don't want to leave because I know I'm going to lose the pump, and I'm not going to look as swole as I did,
So true.
Yeah.
And I mean, like what I've found recently anyway, and that was just almost sparking the different side to running, which is, I've been looking a lot into like psychology and shit. One of the archetypes there of the masculine is the warrior, and that's kind of like going in and just getting shit done.
Yeah.
I mean, like running for me, like there's an aspect in all fitness, but I definitely resonated with running and bicep curls as well. But there's a place where you go, especially when the run starts to get hard. Yeah. And there's always a place during a run where it, like, unless you're literally just cruising for the sake of cruising, But for most people, when they're going to run, there's a place where it starts to get hard. Yeah. And it's that place where it starts to get hard that, that's where you're kind of digging into that inner warrior, where you're kind of like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. And I never really clicked before, but I loved that about it. Yeah. I enjoyed getting to, like the last, I don't know, K or the last 5 minutes of the run, like when you can, that sense of I'm on the home straight again. And when you get to that sense of being on the home straight where you can just like let go and just like actually grit it out, and it almost feels good by gritting it out. Yeah. And just getting back into that, like for me, there was like, outside of just the huge, obviously, health benefits that we've kind of talked about already before, and that especially within the
running
and
cardiovascular.
Yeah. Outside of that, I think like just personally for me, that kind of grit of going and get shit done again, and it's just another aspect where you can kind of tick that box. Yep. Particularly, there's not many other areas, or it's an easily accessible area where you can just go in and do it. And like I said, getting back in touch with a little bit of that kind of that grit, that little bit of warrior attitude.
I can relate to that because that's sort of what I picked out of the Live Hard program. Yep. Those outdoor workouts in the pouring rain, those moments and where you're doing a lot of the work that you see no one else around doing. Like I feel like that's something running gives you, because if you take running seriously, it takes a lot of time. Like it's a large commitment, and I just committed to my watch coach to get me to an hour 30 half marathon. Yeah, I haven't even run a half marathon. Like, and here's this delusional guy over here, just like. But I sort of don't see it being a bad thing. I was like, I'm just gonna see what the program, see how hard it is, see if I can go through it, and see how much I can stick to it. I'm a guy that likes to sort of fall into a routine, and then someone else like molding a program for me, or pretty much going, this is what you need to do to achieve this. Go and do these things, and you should and execute, and then you should be able to achieve that. Yep. And I kind of like that. I've always been a person I was like, all right, this is what I want. All right, can you tell me how to get there, or show me how to get there? Yeah, or, I always put my hand out for some help. I don't mind. Like I don't have that ego of I know what I'm doing sort of thing. I can do it all myself. I don't have that approach. I have it like, I see I want to be here. I'm not there in my current base right now. Like, how do I get there?
How do I get there?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and running in particular for me, like, I think when you're going to the gym, unless the goal is literally like fat loss and that kind of thing, muscle building itself, I mean, when you're going to the gym to lift weights to build muscle, that process just takes so long that you can almost kind of get lost a little bit in it. Yeah. as opposed to running it. It tends to, especially if you haven't done it before, and if you haven't run before, like you'll notice the increases in fitness so quickly.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like, it almost steers you into a direction of this is the goal or this is the direction that we want to go with it.
Yeah.
And it gives you that sense of purpose. And especially if, like a couple of times ago, last week when we were talking about like meaning, right? And that loss of meaning or that loss of direction, well, a lot of the times if you just go in and kind of do something, it starts to take shape or steers you in that direction. It just gives you that kind of actual go-getter. And probably that, for me, that's
and
what...
figuring out your path.
Yeah, that's what 75 Hard did for me anyway.
Yeah.
It was like just the ability to know that you can kind of go in and do some hard shit. You know, and again, whether that's weight training or whether that's...
So it goes back to courage again, right? Like giving
100%.
you courage or confidence.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree with that. It's like I'm feeling way fitter, and like I definitely notice the fitness levels are higher, but it's more the confidence around just knowing I have that baseline of fitness. And then not only that, it's also a bit humbling as well. Like, you know, once you start in that world, you start looking at others and you start realizing like, oh, fuck, I'm not even near, which is quite awesome as well, I think. And that's the beauty of that running sphere. And that's also what I liked about doing the half marathon and marathon event when I went and did the coffee cart at the event there. I really enjoyed sort of seeing how like, all right, these guys are all getting together, they're all amped up and they're all ready to go, like that sense of community. And I thought to myself, like, I can't build that with the gym bros. Like it's not that I can't. I eventually want to be able to steer everyone into working out and either running or taking their health seriously. You know, that's I guess that's the main trajectory for my either the podcast and not only that, we want it to ooze out, and even in the little cherry. Like if we want to employ someone in the future, we want to have someone either running or active. We wouldn't want someone being unhealthy. Nothing against them or anything like that. We just want to surround ourselves with others that we can either help or we're all on the same wavelength, you know.
And that's what you want your brand to represent.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's what that's what we want to see, is people see us as the brand for the little cherry, and they also see us as the people that we are and what we're putting our time and effort into and what we care about, you know, and forming a community around that sort of that side of that approach in life.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it is important because quite often, you know, like I said before, for me, the sense of running kind of is that you can go in and just do it for yourself. Whereas actually finding, you know, like-minded people that can also be on that journey with you, it's so much easier to continue it when you've also got someone else and or others to share that with, rather than it just being your own grit. Yeah. Because you can only hold out, you know, so long with that, as opposed to when you start getting into, and I mean, even us doing 75 Hard together, you know, that was huge. Yeah. And there's always, if you're training, having a training buddy. Yeah. You know, if you're running as well, but sometimes if you're not running in that group, one, that group helps to keep you accountable. But two, there's also that kind of level of support and kind of togetherness that ends up kind of, you end up growing with them, and you end up more likely that you can kind of, okay, so today's the day that I don't want to turn up. Yeah. But now I know that the bro's going to be there and I'll turn up with them. Versus, you know, again, just not turning up.
Yeah, I would like to have. I would like to be like a middle of the pack. It would be my ideal. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd like to be. We have some really good runners. Would like to set some paces for us, and like just to show people what's possible, what they could potentially work their way up to. And I'd love to have a lot of people that are just starting out. I would love to help them through those beginning stages. You know, like, and I feel like those are the awakening stages of when you're starting to run. And I don't mind being the person that I've always been. I've always tried to push others that are around me, like to do better. I'd think I would actually snap up that opportunity to sort of help those people that are just wanting to get over there, especially me being the person that I was, that coming from not wanting to run as well, but knowing, being on the other side of the fence and knowing how much benefits that it will have for them, and even just giving them that sort of sense of routine, or just even the stepping stone. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to be doing the full run, or you don't need to be doing max effort, but it's just like that turning up. And even if it's you're convincing yourself to turn up just to get that coffee at the end, hey, that's still a win at the end of the day, right?
What were some of the barriers that you ended up, having to overcome yourself when you were starting to get into running? Like, I think the easy one is, I don't want to do it today kind of thing. But what were some of those, and what did you do in order to do that? Like, I think you strategically placed it around 75 hard.
It's hard though. So that's why I would say, if I probably tried to start programming it in outside of that sort of realm of pushing myself and trying to embrace the difficult, I feel like I would have struggled to stay consistent with it. Whereas I kind of set myself I'm doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday run, 30 minutes, no matter what. It doesn't matter how fast I was going, and I had to keep reiterating that to myself before those runs as well. Like, don't worry about anyone else that's out there running. Don't worry about your pace. Don't look at your heart rate. The goal is to not stop. Like, that's what I set for myself. I don't know. There's probably better coaches out there that could start someone in the running process. 30 minutes might be too hard for them. I just knew I sort of had a decentish base, or even just knowing, just tailor it right back. Like, you can go to it's almost like a light jog. And I just told myself, don't go past it. And there were a few of those runs where I literally got to maybe 20 minutes, and then I ended up going way too hard in that first 20 minutes, and my ankle started getting sore. And then I was like, but you told yourself you're not going to stop. So like, I kind of was in that 75 hard zone where I was, okay, well, if you told yourself that, you got to stick to it. Whereas if I wasn't on that, it would be very hard. Like, I've had a few people message me actually through the running side of things, and they've asked for advice, and I told them that's how I started, and then and to whatever you think, you set yourself, like what you think you can do in that window. Maybe it's 20 minutes or 15 minutes, but maybe you just got to be honest with yourself and like be genuine. Like, what can you push yourself, or be a little bit of a push that it's not going to be too hard, and then just don't stop in that little window there. And I've passed that on to, and then they're still running to this day as well. And I actually message them and check up with them a little bit as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, imagine how powerful that would be. So, you were running in a community or in a group.
Yeah.
And in there, at the point where you were hitting that kind of dark space where you're like, oh, fuck this shit.
Yep.
That, someone popped up and was just like, hey, what made you want to come today? Having that kind of, that question where you're like, oh shit, or what was your goal out of this run? And you're like, oh shit, it was just to make 30 minutes. Oh, okay, well, we're 25 in. You've only got 5 minutes to go. Keep going.
Yeah.
How motivating would that be, where otherwise, you could almost foresee the easy out that most people would probably give themselves.
Yeah.
Whereas, it is 25 minutes. Well, I'm already 25 minutes in. If you were just by yourself, now's probably a time to stop.
Yeah. And that's where I think I'd need your help. Yeah. Like with if you're willing, like I would, obviously life happens. You're not going to be able to make every single one or anything like that. But just for those runs, like that'll be my goal as well. I'll be going around and just checking in on people and trying, if I'm fit enough to keep up with some of them. Hey, like they might be off, but two fit bastards might group up and off they go, and that's sweet. I don't need to check in on them, but like I would probably need someone else, because like there's only one of me. Like just having someone else that can go around and just like check in on others, and and you're being there from the start, sort of seeing what I want or what we want, our vision for health and well-being.
Well, I mean, and that's what I mean. I actually think that's where the value of it tends to come in.
Yeah.
And you probably do. You'll need a little bit of it at both ends, because if the person at the front of the crew doesn't have the buddy that's also at the front of the crew to kind of give him reins to let loose, then he'll kind of feel like he's being held back.
Yeah, and he might not come back or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Versus at the other end of the spectrum, when someone's even just struggled to turn up today, and they just need that kind of like, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, well done for even just turning up. You know, what was the purpose of coming? Well, I needed to do something for 30 minutes. Awesome, let's make that happen.
Yeah, because that's where I want to be. I want to be
Yeah.
actually helping like either the start, and then I would love maybe you running around the middle of the pack and checking in on others, you know, and or whoever needs someone to stay behind. I don't like if it's going to be our run club. I don't want to sort of have anyone feeling like there's shit, and then they'll just turn back early and head off before everyone gets back. You know, I would hate for that. You know, like
exactly.
You don't want that experience for no one.
Yep.
You know, like if we'll be honest, like it's going to be it's going to be people we know.
Yeah.
For the start being anyway, so at least we know that we'll have a bit of a relationship with that base that we start with. And then we can actually learn how, you know, just to make them comfortable, making sure that they enjoy the whole experience as well.
Yeah, well, I think that's what probably deters a lot of people. And I mean, it would have deterred me.
Yeah.
Toward not doing run clubs before, and that's purely it. Like, I don't know what everyone else is going to be doing.
Yeah.
And where I'm going to fit amongst that. And so if I'm like at the front of the crew, am I Harry Hardcore for going too fast? Or if I'm at the back of the crew, like, you know, that self-consciousness, or am I going to be slowing people down?
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, if there's an environment which can cater for all of people and you're kind of there for your own journey and doing your own run, but at the same time, there's a group of people or other people there that can kind of help you with wherever you're at.
Yeah.
That's where I think the, again, maybe overcoming a lot of barriers.
Yeah, that's why I think, like, if you just dangle that coffee in front of them, like, and then that way, like, it can get someone out of their own head. Like the bro who's a speedster, he's like, sweet, I'm gonna smash this out. I'm gonna get myself a long black.
I'm gonna get two by the time you get here.
Yeah, 2 long blacks or something like that. You know, one per person. Like,
no, so he's gonna finish. He's gonna be motivated to finish early so he can get 2 by the time everyone else turns up.
Yeah, but we're in a recession, brother. I can't afford 2.
Tell him to bring $5. Fuck it.
Yeah. Bring that Garmin Pay, bro.
Yeah, exactly. He's got an Apple Watch or a Garmin. You can afford $5.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if he's a speedster, he'll have the kit.
Yeah, exactly. Nike galore.
Yeah. But yeah, so even just having that there kind of can make it a bit more,
100%.
Sweet. Like, all right, I want people to come along. I'm happy to give you guys free coffee. It makes me happy that you're up early on a Saturday morning, trying to better yourself. You know,
100%.
like it's such a small sacrifice for me. Yeah. And if that's what I need to entice you out there, who knows? Maybe it might get to the point where everyone, like, there'll be some people that, oh no, don't worry about it. Like I just love the crew here. I love the vibe, and that's what I think it will be about creating, is that vibe and that environment. Did
you have any idea on when, where, things like that?
I would say something based around the river. I like. Me personally, and that's what the point of this podcast is to actually get some ideas. Like, what do you guys think? If you like that are around Hamilton, even if you're listening and you're outside of Hamilton, maybe the Waikato area or even Tauranga, and you want to come over, or you're visiting friends for the weekend and you want to pick up a Saturday run, I was thinking around 6 o'clock, because I got to go to work every Saturday at 8 o'clock. So, like, if I can be kicking off a run around 6 o'clock and then tie it up around 7, and then everyone's sort of dilly-dallying around for another 20-ish minutes, then I still have enough time to go to clean up and then head off to
next location.
Yeah, the next location to actually go and do the mahi, you know. So something around 6 o'clock, so people turning up at 10 to 6 or quarter to 6 for the early birds, and 5 to 6 for the stragglers that are always. I've played sport my whole life. Fucking, they'll be turning up at 10 past 6, and we're already halfway through, and they'll be dropping a message to the group chat. Oh, whereabouts you guys? I'll pull over at the side of the road and I'll join in. Like, you know, there'll be some of them.
Straight up. Forgot the electrolytes.
Yeah, something like that. You know, I snoozed my alarm 3 times. You know, like, it's gonna be hard. Like, it's gonna be hard for me. I'm gonna be doing that, and I'm gonna go straight into work. At least for the winter season. That's because I got the football season going. So, but that doesn't bother me at all. Like, we get up early, and it's actually a late start for us, 8 o'clock for the football. It's quite late for us.
Hour
Yeah.
or half an hour to start?
I was thinking, yeah, could be half an hour to start. Like, if I'll be honest, I've got maybe like 5 or 6 people in mind that I'm going to try and drag there, and then get some content so we can actually put it out there and be like, come and hang out with us, cool buggers, you know, like.
And those people can go for an hour.
Yeah, pardon?
And those people can go for an hour.
I don't think so.
No,
No, that's what I mean. Like half an hour, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We try and get some engagement on this this podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll be really good to hear people's opinions, ideas on where to go. That's the beauty of it. Like, I wouldn't love to leave the cart and the generator going. I do have a couple spots in mind where I can plug in and I know it's safe. And we can talk about that more, but it's more about building up I guess, a couple of people that want to do it, and then that way I can start planning it, if you know what I mean, like in a couple weeks or 3 weeks, and then start from there, and then maybe the little chair will sponsor coffees for the first 2 to 3 months. Granted, it's not getting too out of hand, but I don't think it would get too out of hand.
Yeah,
like word of mouth is powerful, but also I
It's
don't know.
6 o'clock,
I'm also learning how to. We have to be learning how to run one as well. So
Yeah.
like, if it gets too big, I'd be like, shit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With especially with the like how in order to run them in particular. But if people have ideas, and like you said, like I think this one or this podcast in particular is just to gather ideas and things from not just us but other people.
Yeah.
If they have those ideas, what is the best place to kind of send them through?
It'll be good to send it through either through Instagram, I would say, through Aaron Won't Stop.
Yep.
I would say that would be the best place.
It's Aaron.won't.stop.
Yep, that's right. Also through maybe Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
I tend to, if there's listeners out here that I'm not friends with, I would say Aaron Won't Stop will be the better one. It's if it's a part of our friend group, I would say message me through Messenger or even comments on the podcast itself, and even on the YouTube channel, you can comment in there. It'll be a good way to get a bit more engagement, and that way it will help the algorithm. You know,
Play the game.
Yeah, you got to play the game. Yeah,
Play the game.
Yeah, yeah, and I would say this one's just for the ideas out there, and it's also putting it out in the world like that. This is what we're wanting to do, and there's no better way to sort of start the process by actually just putting something out there, because
100%.
engaging how much people would. Because I don't even mind, like if we bring the cart along, I'll take them to a place where it's not costing me. So then I make 5 of us coffees, and we should stand around and chat shit, for 10, 20 minutes, and then I mosey on off to work, and everyone else actually got a really good start to their weekend. I've got a few catchphrases that I've thought of for it, but I don't know if I'll say it on the podcast, and maybe you can come along to the event and hear my cliche bullshit.
So I guess like at the moment we're kind of thinking, or you're thinking around the river somewhere. I kind of throw out, hey, potentially even something Hamilton North kind of way, because there's not a hell of a lot. So any other location ideas, or even just where you guys are, that would make it easier to kind of get to, that can be a good place.
Yeah. Even if you're willing to throw your front lawn up for, like, I just need a level place to park the cart. I just need to plug into a normal PowerPoint, just a single phase. 10 amp will do my coffee cart fine. And just need to plug it up. I can lock it up while we're off for a run. And that's the thing, is I'd have to sort of tailor the run just so I can run, and then I get back so I'm ready to serve. So maybe I'm only doing a half run, which is fine by me, and that's the sacrifice I'm willing to do, because I'm running 4 or 5 times a week anyway. So like, this is more for everyone else is what I'm wanting to do this for. Yeah.
I mean, so 30 minutes, that's quite easy, because you can end up doing like an out and back. So if we keep it around 30 minutes to start with, that can be a 15 out, 15 back. And so it doesn't matter how fast you are. Like, obviously the fast person will get, who knows, 2Ks down the road, 3Ks down the road. The other person might get 500 meters down the road,
Mm.
and then turn around and come back.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of just end up going at your own pace because the time is constrained rather than necessarily distance where everyone kind of has to reach X.
Yep.
Or you end up turning around halfway in order to kind of do a loop kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like the idea of that because that way I can do like 12 and a half minutes
Yeah.
and then I'm back 5 minutes before everyone.
Yeah.
And then that way I'm just maybe not a sweaty mess and, and maybe there's some others that have decided to drop back as well because it felt a bit hard or an injury or something like that. And then I can serve them and get them sorted.
Yeah. I know.
What do you reckon?
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. I wasn't thinking of a strenuous episode for this, so it's just more put the feelers out there.
Yeah.
Get some ideas. Even if you're not wanting to run, but you've got some ideas for us, fucking send them our way.
Yeah, hard up.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. It's just gather those ideas in order to kind of see, hey, whether or not there's interest. And even if there's not necessarily interest, we could always just end up starting it on a Saturday morning.
Yep.
Just to kind of even start our own momentum doing that.
Yeah, and maybe bring the cart along when we've got like
100%.
5 or 6 people that are keen for some coffee. Because I want to do that for not only our clientele. So if we actually set a date and we start doing it, I'll actually start advertising it at the front of our carts as well.
Yeah.
I've even thought of the table tennis community because I've been involved in that. And my brother's still involved in that. I could get some of his young ones maybe to come with their parents. It would be a good little. I've been thinking of a few things to entice people to come and because everyone knows down at the stadium that spot, it's quite a good spot and it would be quite nice after you come back for your run sitting around in the bush. True. And I think it'll be a real nice spot to hang around and chat shit.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
it's all about the chat. I feel like
it
is honestly. You turn
100%.
up, and
well, like I said, I think because running ends up being such a solo sport that a lot of the times, anytime that you can get some kind of community, it ends up being more worthwhile.
Yeah,
and for me, the thing that would deter me from going into that community is not necessarily knowing where everyone else is on their journey either.
Yeah.
And so, just knowing that, hey, irrespective of where you are, you can kind of go as fast or as slow as you can. And it's really about just, mixing, mingling, and finding like-minded people.
Yep.
And then getting to the end of it, talking a bit of shit and enjoying a brew.
Yeah, and either inspiring others or being inspired by others.
100%.
Another part of the reason, sorry, I'll just add this little bit on to the end.
Yeah.
Another reason why we wanted to start doing it is we started getting a lot of messages of people wanting to get a coffee cart for their run club that they're wanting to set up. And I was like, I don't want to go because we've talked about it. I've wanted to do it, and we kind of actually joked about it. January, February when I first did my first run, I was like, soon we'll be doing a run club. Yeah. And then when you said that to me, I actually took it serious. I was like, actually, that sounds like a great idea. And now here we are, and we've had 3 people message us to try and get us to come to their morning run clubs. Yeah. And I thought if we're going to be going through the effort of doing that anyway, I'd rather service my own customers. I'd rather give back to my community, my customers, and my a lot of our friends that might come, they are my customers as well. So it's not like I'm just trying to rope in my friends. It's no, it's another way for the little cherry to give back to them because they've constantly supported me and my business as well.
100%.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
which I think again, it's just. Once you can build that community and the momentum towards building that community, for the people that are contemplating whether or not they want to come on, or don't let that kind of deter you. It is about that kind of just enjoyment and getting in there and talking a bit of shit.
Yeah.
And while doing something that's advantageous to your health, that might also help you kind of feel as though you've got a bit of sense of grit or going after and achieving something, especially on the weekend where things tend to slow down.
It's a good way to start your Saturday, I think. It'll be nice, yeah.
But also that you're not doing that by yourself, and you've also got the people around you to help support on the days that you don't want to turn up at the same time.
Yeah, with
a little dingle of a carrot at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, whatever it takes to get you to the end result, 100%. You gotta convince, you gotta trick your mind a little bit sometimes. They're like, all right, maybe we might even up the ante for those tough ones out there. We might even have a baked dessert or something.
Hey.
Who knows, bro?
Some carbs at the end.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
now we're talking.
Freshly made by
That's
the one and only unit.
We'll put it out there, considering she's not in the room right now.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I did not sign up for that, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to entice a runner,
Yeah.
dangle some carbs at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some caffeine and some carbs.
Carbs, there he
An
is.
almond croissant, even.
Oh,
There's
talk to me.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Let
Cheers,
us know.
guys. Yeah, 100%.
Cheers.